You may have just played through the latest update in Star Wars The Old Republic, Pinnacles of Power, and have come across two new characters called Aryn Leneer and Zeerid Korr. You may not know the significance to these two characters for the overall story, and more specifically to Darth Malgus. So to go back to the beginning. Aryn was the Padawan of Ben Salo during the sacking of Coruscant that you see in the cinematic trailer Deceived. Ben Salo is the Jedi Master who battles Darth Malgus but ultimately is defeated. Aryn is on Alderaan at the time for the peace treaty negotiations and feels her master's death. She swears vengeance on Darth Malgus. Aryn reconnects with an old friend, Zeerid Korr, a former soldier and member of Havoc Squad, now turned smuggler. They travel to Coruscant and break through the Sith blockade, where Zeerid even loses his ship. Aryn locates her master's droid T7, who you gain as a companion in the Jedi Knight storyline and later in the Knights of the Fallen Empire story. T7 shows what happened to Master Salo, and she swears to hurt Malgus in the same way he has hurt her. So she captures his lover, the blue Twi'lek Elena Darrow you also see in the cinematic trailer, but Zeerid convinces Aryn not to hurt Elena. Aryn confronts Malgus, they battle, and she even wounds him, but he again ultimately gains the upper hand and overwhelms Aryn with Force Lightning, which leads to my favorite part of the book that all of this was based on, which is also called Deceived. Malgus watched the shuttle, piloted by Aryn Leneer, rise on its thrusters. He raised jawed on the comm. "A shuttle is lifting off from Liston," he said. "It is also clear to leave Coruscant space." "Yes, my lord," Jard answered. Malgus could have broken his word to the Jedi, could have shot Aryn Leneer from the sky, but he would not. He kept his promises. But he realized more than ever that the Jedi were too dangerous for him to allow them to exist. They were to the Sith what Elena was to him. An example of peace, of comfort, and therefore a temptation to weakness. Angrel did not see it. The Emperor did not see it. But Malgus saw it, and he knew what he must do. He must destroy the Jedi utterly. He kneeled beside Elena, cradled her head in his left arm. He studied her face, its symmetry, the line of her jaw, the deep-set eyes, the perfectly formed nose. He remembered the first time he had seen her, a cowed-beaten slave, barely out of her teens. He'd killed her owner for his brutality, taken her into his house, trained her in combat. She had been his companion, his lover, his conscience ever since. Her eyes fluttered open, focused. She smiled. "Veradun, you are my rescuer." "Yes," he said. "Where is the woman?" Elena asked. "The Jedi?" "She's gone. She will never hurt you again." She leaned her head back into his arm, closed her eyes, and sighed contently. "I knew you loved me." "I do," he acknowledged, and her smile widened. He felt tears forming in his eyes, his weakness made manifest. She opened her eyes, saw the tears, reached up an arm to put a hand on his cheek. "What is wrong, my love?" "That I love you is what is wrong, Elena." "Veradun." He steeled himself, stood, ignited his lightsaber, and drove it through her heart. Her eyes widened, never left his face, pierced him. Her mouth opened in a surprised gasp. She seemed as if she wanted to say something, but no sound emerged from her mouth. And then it was over. She was gone. He deactivated his blade. He could no longer afford a conscience or a weakness, not if he was to do what must be done. He could serve only one master. He stood over her body until his tears dried. He resolved that he'd never shed another. He'd had to destroy what he loved, and he knew he would have to do it again. First the Jedi, then... So what do you think Darth Malgus will be seeking on Dantooine?